Hello again, VC. Dan here. Welcome back to Vinyl Fury. Once again, it's been some time since my last video, and I have collected a few records that I would like to show you and talk about a bit, new and old. So new, the latest album from Deftones. This is titled Gore. I really enjoyed this cover here with a bunch of flying flamingos. A nice gatefold. This album was released this past Friday after 4 years since their last record. And I really enjoy it. Like almost all people that enjoy it, they enjoy it more the more they hear it. Some people were not terribly impressed upon first listen. I'm not really sure what they were expecting. Some people have said that they wish it was as heavy as the previous two albums. But there's some really heavy stuff on here. Some of their heaviest sounding guitar tones that I can remember. The guitar player, Stefan, is still using 8-string guitars, so it's some pretty low, heavy stuff. And the bass player, actually, for many of the songs, is using what's called a Fender Bass 6, which is a 6-string bass on a smaller scale, so it pretty much looks like a guitar, but there's much heavier gauge strings, and it sounds like a bass, but you have a wider melodic range, with the high stuff especially. So those two together create some pretty crazy low frequency stuff. There is some very melodic stuff on here, but Deftones have always been really good at that. I think this sonic signature is probably more akin to White Pony from 2000, but definitely with their lower tuned, heavier tone. Chino, the singer, has been in several other projects in the last few years. One of them being Palms, which is basically the band ISIS with Chino singing. So that, I think, has bled over a bit into this with the vocals. He doesn't scream as much. Maybe that's what people are pointing out, but that's fine with me. And when he does, it's effective. There's some of my favorite tracks on here from them in the recent past, especially Phantom Bride, which is the second to last track. Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains plays a guitar solo on that, and it's nothing crazy. It definitely sounds like him, and it's a cool texture. But yeah, this whole thing, I think I've listened to the whole thing 4, maybe 5 times so far. Unlike their last record, Koi no Yoken, which had a HD tracks release, a high resolution digital release, and it was a different master from the standard digital compact release. Definitely more dynamic, definitely punchier, much more pleasing to listen to. And I'm assuming that was used for the vinyl pressing as well. This doesn't sound any different than the digital master. When it's loud, it's very loud. Most of the time, or a good portion of the time, I wish it was not so loud. And I definitely wish they would have backed off the master gain, and had a more, a less aggressive master, and put it out as an HD tracks. There is an HD tracks version. It's just a 24-bit version of the digital master, which I actually don't think is. I think it's just upsampled from 16. So there's really not a difference there. So that's unfortunate. It's on white vinyl, which looks cool, especially with the pink label and in conjunction with the artwork. It works definitely. And it's pressed, I think, as far as I can tell, and I'm almost positive that it's pressed at, I think it's Record Industry. which does all the music on vinyl pressings, and most of those are really good, clean and quiet and flat. This white vinyl, I experienced, upon my first listen at least, some static, not overwhelming, but present, and a little distracting at times. So, especially considering how expensive this thing is, I got it for $26.99, and that was on sale. It seems like standard retail is $29.99, and that is just too expensive. I'm getting really tired of it, especially when this offers really no significant sonic advantage. It's just on vinyl, and it does not need to be that expensive. There's just no reason for it. It's getting harder and harder to part with that much money just to have this thing. Hopefully things turn around, because it can't keep continuing. It can't keep getting more expensive and continue its success, this format. It can't happen. It's got to come back down. So as far as the album goes, definitely another winner from Deftones. They've been one of my favorite bands for half my life. Unfortunately, the vinyl pressing, is not a sonic gem, and it's definitely a victim of the loudness wars. It's a very loud record, but I like it. I like it a lot, and many people call it a grower, which I think it's kind of weird that people were calling it a grower on the day of its release. But I think what they mean is after a few listens, it really solidifies itself, past your expectations of what it was going to be. So, Deftones are still great, still making great music, and they're touring right now. I don't know if I'll be able to go see them. It's not close where they're playing, and it's pretty expensive. But they are playing with Refused, so that's pretty cool. And man, I thought I was going to get through a few records in less than 10 minutes, and I've already spent almost that much on just this. So, screw it. I'll just make this video about this record. If you like Deftones, I don't see any reason why you're not going to like this record. I could talk more in depth about the songs. There are some really catchy choruses. I mean, as heavy as this stuff is, there's some really melodic and catchy choruses. I keep hearing the last song, Rubicon, the chorus of that. And speaking of how heavy it is, it starts off so heavy. It's like almost a tribal drum beat, just banging. And it's super low, growling guitars. And the chorus just lifts right up. And there's a really melodic, high lead guitar part that's really cool. I will say that I think they're using, I think it's called fractal amp modeling, digital technology, instead of like solid state amplifiers and pedals and stuff. It's all triggered through this amp modeling software, and it definitely sounds like that, especially in the delay tones that they use. It sounds very digital, and that's a little off-putting to me. That stuff can be used to good effect, especially live. In the studio, though, I don't think it translates quite as well, I guess. And you can definitely tell that it was pieced together over time. I think the vocals were completely recorded separately in a different studio, which it kind of sounds like they were, at least at times. I don't particularly care for the significant reverb on the vocals most of the time. It doesn't sit quite right to me. But for all the nitpicking that I'm doing, I still really, really like this album, and I'm going to be listening to it quite a bit in the very near future. And speaking of HD tracks, all the previous discography was re-released in high resolution, and some of them are just slightly different mixes. There's especially additions to a few vocal parts. Nothing huge, but if you know the records really well, so much so that your brain kind of has a recording of them already, there are things that you'll hear and I don't think I've heard that before. Rather than being, like I said, a little less aggressive masters, they're actually, for the most part, louder, which is unfortunate, but they're different. So, if you're interested in that, the whole discography is available from HD Tracks and a couple other high-res digital distributors. So yeah, I babbled on too long and I ran out of time on my phone, as I usually seem to do. So anyway, yeah, the whole discography, remastered, high-resolution downloads, check that out if you're interested. It's cool to hear some different things. I do have a whole stack of records here that I would like to show you, so I'm going to do that in another video and hopefully get through them a little bit quicker. So, thanks for watching, take care, and enjoy your music.